sales, you are going to be hit with objections. And to be a sales rock star, you have to be prepared for these rejections. So please stay tuned because we're going to talk about one that you're going to get hit with, which is I'm not interested. Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so that you do not miss any future objections that could really impact your sales career. So let's just jump right into this one. I'm not interested. This was one that I would struggle with when I first started selling, because what do you say to somebody right off the bat that picks up the phone that says, I am not interested? Before we look into this, let's first right now talk about why somebody is saying, I'm not interested, before you really even get into anything. See, what I'm not interested does is this, is it puts up a barrier for that individual so that they do not move that conversation forward. See, when somebody says, I am not interested, okay, they're not saying they're not interested in you. What they're saying is they're not interested in moving that conversation forward. So a big mistake that salespeople make is they think that they have to overcome this objection right off of the bat. Your job is not to overcome the objection and close them right now on this stall or this resistance. Your job as a salesperson is to move the conversation forward. That's the only thing that you want to do. Because remember, the individual is getting a lot of phone calls right now. They know this is about insurance that you're about to talk about, and they are not interested in talking about it right now. So what you have to do is quickly go ahead and respond back to their objection and just move the conversation forward. That's the only goal, is to move the conversation forward. So somebody says, I am not interested. So how do you go ahead and respond to I am not interested? Let's talk about the formula for responding to objections. You first of all want to always agree with them, state their first name, go ahead and acknowledge the facts, and then start asking questions. So you want to keep it short, sweet, and right to the point. So here we go. I am not interested. What do you say to that? So here's how you respond to that. I hear you, Joe. Nobody I talk to is interested in talking about insurance because it's boring. I know you get a lot of calls, but this might benefit you to listen to this one. Let me ask you a question. See what you just did? You quickly went ahead and you agreed with them. I hear you. You went ahead and acknowledged that, hey, insurance is boring. It's not interesting, but they need to listen to this call. And then you go right into your discovery process. Boom! You don't stop. You don't ask for permission. I just read a sales book where the individual was saying in that sales book that you want to acknowledge that before you move forward. No, that's incorrect. In sales, remember, I'm not trying to close them right now. I'm just trying to move the conversation forward. So again, let's revisit this one. I am not interested. I hear you, Joe. Nobody I talk to is really interested in talking about insurance because it's boring. I know you're getting a lot of calls, but it might benefit you to listen to this one. Let me ask you a question. So let's try this one more time so it really sinks in. I'm not interested. I hear you, Joe. Nobody I talk to is really interested in talking about insurance because it's boring. I know you get a lot of calls, but it might benefit you to listen to this one. Let me ask you a question. Boom, right into your discovery process. Do not stop. Do not wait for them to acknowledge that, okay, it's okay for me to continue talking. They will go ahead and they will tell you and stop you if they do not move forward. Your job is not to go ahead and get them to acknowledge that. Just keep asking your questions. Get right into your discovery, into your qualification, into your connection with that client. Now let's say that the stall continues. What about if they come back and say, hey, I told you I am not interested in talking to you. Here's where, instead of hanging up the phone, remember they're on the phone with you, the universe just sent you this person, you now just need to move that conversation forward. And how you do that is you have to get in touch with the emotional side of the sale. So we've gone ahead and acknowledged that I'm not interested. Now they're coming back and they're saying I'm not interested again. Now we have to get super emotional with that individual. 85% of buying is strictly emotional buying. So what I've done is this, is you're going to see as I respond to this stall behind the stall, is that I get really emotional. And this was kind of my formula. Whenever somebody would not move forward with me, I would now tap into the emotion. So if somebody said, after I just went ahead and said, insurance is boring, I know you're getting a lot of calls, but you might it might benefit you to listen to this one. They're now coming back and saying, I still am not interested. Here's what I have to do. I hear you, Joe. I don't believe in any coincidence in life. I believe the universe meant for us to connect today. If you could be kind enough to give me a couple minutes of your time, let's find out why the universe did that. Let me ask you a question. Boom. See what you've just done is you've gone ahead, and you've heard it probably in other videos. If you hit the notification button, you're going to get alerted of more objection ones just like this. You're going to find that one of my go-to things was this, is when somebody would go ahead and they would not move forward with me, I would always use the universe connection as a way to tap into that person's emotion. So when that person came back and said, hey, I'm not interested in talking to you, I went ahead and just went right into the emotion. I hear you, Joe. I don't believe in any coincidence in life. I believe the universe meant for us to connect today. If you could be kind enough to give me a couple minutes of your time, let's find out why the universe actually did that. Let me ask you a question. Boom! You continue with your process. Don't wait for them to go ahead and say, wait a minute, I told you I wasn't interested twice now. Just keep moving forward with the objection. Go ahead and make sure that you're tapping into that person's emotion. So again, we've gone through this right now, so I'm going to repeat it real quick one last time as we wrap up. Somebody comes on the phone call and they go, I am not interested. So what do you say back to that? I hear you, Joe. Nobody I talk to is really interested in talking about insurance because it's boring. I know you're getting a lot of calls, but it might benefit you to listen to this one. Let me ask you a question. What you've done is you've just put yourself as the authority and you're moving that conversation forward. Now, if that stall continues and they come back and say, I just told you I am not interested in talking to you, that's when you go into the emotion. I hear you, Joe. I don't believe in any coincidence in life. I believe the universe meant for us to actually connect today. If you could be kind enough to give me a couple minutes of your time, let's find out why the universe did that. Let me ask you a question. What's your zip code? Here's what I have in front of me. That's how you overcome the objection, I am not interested. So now that you understand how to respond to the initial resistance, and you understand now how to respond to the stall behind the stall by getting emotional with that person, you now have the tools in front of you. Whenever somebody says, I'm not interested, you now know exactly how to respond to that and how to move that conversation forward. Now that you know that, go out there today and be an absolute sales rock star. Whenever somebody says, I'm not interested, you're that rock star that's going to move that conversation forward.